Hi friends, Today's, today we are going to learn how to use custom validation attribute using MVC4 application. So imagine we have a movie class, movie model. In this model we have a movie name, language, description, release date. So MVC4 application already have few existing attributes such as required, regular expression, length. So those are the attributes already existing which comes with the MVC4 application. But we want to create some custom validation attribute. The scenario which I'm talking about is, so this is the page. We have movie name, language, description, release date. What if user enter English as a language, we want to make the description as a required field. Otherwise description is not a required field. So for example, I'm typing test, language is English, and I'm keeping description as empty, and then type date. When user and click the create button, we want them to show error message shows that please enter the description. If the language is not English, then we don't want to show the error message. So for now, if I keep English, I can able to create without entering description. While it's creating, let's go back to our model. So one second. So okay, this is created. So it's created test English. So we don't want this page to be created, this data to be created without description if user enter language as English. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new custom required attribute called IfRequired. Okay, so we're gonna create a new class name called I think I already have validation. Just create a new class called validation attribute, new file name validation attribute, and we're gonna call this as IfRequired. It's a class name, and we're gonna inherit the base class as a validation attribute. Right click, resolve. Okay, once this is ready, we're gonna override the validation result. Protected, override, IsValid. So there are one is IsValid, and we're gonna override IsValid with the two with validation context. Okay, we don't need this to be there. I want to delete this. Okay, so now if you return null from here, it won't show any error message. So let's test this. Okay, so we already added IfRequired for the description, and the description IfRequired is returning as a null. So if it is null, if return is null, then that means it's not even checking anything. It's correct. The validation is correct. So far we just started with the null. Build the solution. Okay, refresh. Anyway, so while this refreshing, we're gonna start do the other codes. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a constructor for IfRequired, public IfRequired, and I'm gonna pass two parameter, string field name, which is, and string field value. I'm gonna declare to property public string field name public string field value. Okay, alright, so let's go here. So what now we're getting error message says we need to pass the two parameters. So what I'm gonna pass is field name, which is the name of the field you need to check, which is language. Field value which is we want to check whether it's English or not. Sorry, caps F. So what we're telling is we want the description to field to be IfRequired if the language field name language is value is English. If the value is not English, we don't want them to be required. So for what we have is here. So IfRequired we able to assign the values. Now we gonna pass this field name is equal to this dot field name equal to field name, which comes from the model. This dot field value equal to field value, caps F, which comes from model. So from here we are going to send the field name and field value, which will comes here field name field value. So now we have the field name and field value to check. So what we're saying is field name should be we are going to check the language, and then we want to check the field value is English. If the value is English, then make this as a required field. Okay, so now we're going to write the real condition here. So now always return null if the field name is English and the value field name is language, value is English, we want them to be required. So to do that, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to declare variable form values. The form values come from the movie this form. We're gonna get all the values from the form. Go to http context dot current dot request dot form. Okay, now we have the form values. Here we're gonna check form values of the field name. So of field name equal to form values of field name equal to, so we want to check the language is the field name which comes from that text equal to this field value. If it is equal, then we return then we're gonna check another condition. So what we are saying here is the form values, which is the form field name, which is language, the form values of language equal to field value, which means if English, the field name English If the user entered English equal to English, then we want this to be required. So we want this to be required. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna check one more condition. If value not equal to null, the value means which is the description which comes from here, which is the description, value not equal to null, and value dot to string dot length greater than 0, then return null. Else return new validation result. We're gonna say please enter text. So what we're saying here is, if the form values of field name, which is the form values of language, equal to field value which we passing it from here English. If the form, whatever the user enter value is English, equal to this matching field value is English, then come to this condition. In this condition we're checking value which is description, which is this one, not equal to null, and value dot string length is greater than 0, then return null. Because we want, if the language is English, then we want them to be enter value. If the value is there, we says okay, it's good, proceed. If the value is not there, we are saying please enter text. So let's build this. Okay, go back here, refresh. So once again I'm gonna explain this condition. So what we're doing here is we are adding the new attribute called IfRequired. We are passing field name language, and the field value is English. So what we're checking is this field, this language, in the language whatever the field name is language, and the field name value is English. We want whatever the user enter value equal to English, which is in the model, then description has to be entered. If the description is not entered, we will show the error message. Okay, let's go back here. It's still loading. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Okay, so this one gonna helps a lot of places. For example, you have the form which has radio button. So we want to check the radio button is a field name, and then we want the radio button, if the radio button, for example, radio button is called college or university. So we want this description to be entered if the radio button college, radio button is college. So field value is college, then we want the description to be entered. If the field value is university, we don't want the description to be entered. Same way we have the drop down which has small, medium, big. So if the field value is range and then value is big, we want the description to be entered. If the field value is not big, then we don't want them to be entered. So the same thing we can use in so many different places. Once you know how to do this, so you will once you get the comfort level to do this code, I hope you will be using it in so many different places. Okay, so I'm gonna type enter. I'm typing some text. Language is not English. I'm gonna okay. Let me recreate again. So movie name is test language is something, and I'm keeping description as empty. Creating again. So now it's created, but now I'm creating one more time. Movie name is test, language is English. I'm keeping description as empty and creating. So we want this to be S. This is what we expected. So anytime they type language as English, we want them to be enter description, otherwise we'll show the error message. So if I enter now something, then this will be happy with that. Okay, one more time. I can type languages anything and keep the description empty. That's fine. Create. But if I keep languages English and keeping description is empty, is not allowed. So we need to enter description. Okay, so language is English always comes with the description. I hope everyone did follow what I talked about, how to create a custom validation attribute. The same way we can create a numeric field, numeric custom field attribute. So many different attribute depends on your requirement. This is the one of the good one. You can use it in so many different places. Once you know how to use this, then you'll be much happy to use it in so many different places. So you can change this to, for example, field name, I want to change this to movie name. So if the movie name is the same IfRequired custom field attribute, we're gonna use it in so many different places. I'm gonna type field name is movie name and the name is good. Okay, Superman. If the field name in the movie name, if field name is movie name and field value is in, if the Superman is the movie name, we want the user to be enter the description. Okay, so let's test this out. Build solution. Okay, refresh, create new. Okay, now we can enter test as a movie name. Language is language whatever, because we removed that required field from the language, and description is empty. Okay, now create. So now this will create, but if we enter movie name is a Superman, then it won't create. Okay, so now we're gonna create a new movie. We're gonna call Superman, and the language is or something, and we keep the description empty. Let's see, we hope we get the error message here. See, we get the error message. So anytime you enter the Superman, we need the description also. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you got some good idea about custom validation attribute. So the same way we can create so many different custom validation attribute. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.